If you're tracking your VO2 max, taking about 20 supplements a day and tracking your blood glucose levels, yet you need to lose 30 pounds of fat, build muscle and fix your sleep, you're optimizing the wrong floor of the building. My name's Adam, I'm a performance nutritionist who's helped over 200 men lose fat and significantly improve their health. Now this video is about the gap between what looks impressive and what actually works. I used to call myself a biohacker before it was even cool. Micromanaging my blood sugar levels. I was taking my ketones daily, trying to stay within a range. Sauna 5 times a week, maybe sometimes 7. £100 on olive oil a month. That's quite a lot. And about 30 different supplements costing me hundreds. While doing this, I didn't realize I was gaining too much fat and I was actually getting weaker. There's a hierarchy to this stuff that nobody talks about because the bottom of it doesn't go viral. So at the bottom, you've got things that do almost all the work. Sleep, lifting consistently, eating enough protein, eating enough fiber, and generally staying active. These are responsible for the overwhelming majority of what happens to your body composition and your health over time. Above that, there's a smaller layer of genuine optimization, some structured cardio and dialing in your nutrition more precisely. They are useful once the foundation's solid. And right at the top, getting almost all the attention, is the biohacking stuff. The supplements, the wearables, the cold plunges, the light therapy, and the list goes on. The fitness content economy has pointed the camera at the top layer and left it there. Because lift 3 times a week and eat enough protein doesn't get 10 million views. And here's the thing nobody tells you about biohacking research. Almost all of it's done on people who are already training consistently, sleeping well, and eating reasonably. You don't get to borrow those results if your foundation is a mess. If you're sleeping 6 hours, eating erratically, and training twice a week, no supplement stack is closing that gap. Once I stripped back everything and just got my training dialed in again, protein up, and my sleep sorted, I got lean and was starting to lift a lot more. I didn't change a single supplement, just fixed the floor I was standing on. Now there's a comparison I like to think about a lot. Cycling Weekly tracked down a competitive amateur cyclist, McKe. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He's 48 years old. He rides with a group in Regent's Park every morning and races at the track on the weekends. He's not a professional and not someone with some wild protocol, just someone who gets up early and rides his bike. They put him through a VO2 max test in London, in a London lab, I think. He recorded 65.6 and Johnson's is 58.7. Justin is 2 years older. Johnson exercises an hour a day, stretching, strength work, a short HIIT session a few times a week. Justin does 8 to 10 hours of training. I'm not saying that's nothing, but the difference isn't the gadgets, it's the volume of work. Now, Johnson's basics are generally good. He eats a tightly controlled diet, sleeps on a strict schedule, and monitors everything. On top of that, over 100 supplements daily, light therapy, and enough biomarker tests to keep a small clinic busy. And his final meal is at 11 a.m. Justin's blood work came back excellent across the board. Testosterone in a healthy, natural range, cardiovascular and metabolic markers that, according to the sports endocrinologist who reviewed them, a pro cyclist in their 20s would be happy with. No supplementation required. And the professor they spoke to put it plainly. Being sedentary is very bad for you. A lack of exercise was responsible for twice as many deaths as obesity in one large population study he referenced. And the difference in life expectancy between someone who gets the basics right, regular exercise, not smoking, drinking in moderation, watching weight and eating reasonably, and someone who does none of those is 15 years. 15 years. Johnson is doing most of those things. That's almost certainly why he looks and performs the way he does. The rest is just getting the credit. The margin between doing the basics consistently and spending a fortune on optimization is much smaller than anyone selling you a supplement wants to believe. Okay, so VO2 max is worth understanding because it's one of the better predictors of long-term health that we have. Higher VO2 max generally does correlate with lower cardiovascular risk and longer life. That's real. But here's where it goes wrong for most people. They start treating the number like it's the intervention. And then they buy a watch that estimates it. They test monthly. And they talk about zone 2 while barely training in it. But none of that moves the number. You raise your VO2 max by doing consistent aerobic work, running, cycling, rowing, brisk walking, 3 to 5 times a week over months and years. Sure, you can put in some high intensity work when your recovery allows. That's it really. The cyclist beat Johnson because he'd been riding his bike for years, not because he'd found the perfect protocol. And crucially, the biggest jump in health benefit comes from when you go from barely moving to moving consistently, not from fit to elite. That first step is where most men over 30 are leaving enormous amounts on the table. If your VO2 max obsession isn't training how often or how hard you train, it's just data cosplay. And what actually works isn't complicated. The men I've worked with who've made the most consistent progress over the years are almost never the ones doing the most. They're the ones who've been doing the right things for long enough for it to compound. Energy balance and protein are doing most of the heavy lifting in terms of body composition. A sustained calorie deficit is what drives fat loss, not the specific diet, not the timing, not the food combinations. When calories and protein are matched, different approaches produce almost identical results. Protein somewhere between 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight per day at a deficit that isn't too aggressive enough so you can actually maintain it. That's the framework, and everything else is the details. Of course, strength training is probably the most underused health tool for men over 30. 2 to 4 sessions a week, covering most muscle groups and getting stronger over time. It builds muscle, improves metabolic health, protects bone density, and reduces the risk of injury as you age. No gadget is doing what consistent lifting does over time. Cardio, you'll actually do consistently over time. The cycling weekly comparison wasn't about an elite athlete. It was about someone who showed up and rode regularly. That's accessible to most people. And sleep, poor sleep drives hunger up, pulls recovery down, and makes everything else harder to sustain. Consistent bed and wake times, a room that's dark and cool, cutting caffeine out 12 to 13 hours before bed. And you don't need a tracker here. That's the foundation. And I've never had a client who genuinely nailed all those 4 things and still couldn't make progress. It just doesn't happen. Okay, so not saying it's all useless. Once the foundation is solid, training consistent, protein sorted, sleep reasonable, some tools can give you a small edge, like supplements to fill in nutrition gaps, a step counter that keeps you honest about your daily movement. And if you really do struggle with sleep, something to give you some data on your sleep, maybe like a sleep tracker. These are useful because they make the basics more consistent, not because they replace them. The honest version of biohacking is that it's dessert. It has a place, but you don't build your diet around it. What makes it dangerous is the story it tells, that you can keep your current lifestyle, then add the right stack and skip the boring work. And the people who you're watching who look like evidence of that either already have the structured life that revolves around their health, or they're paying a hidden cost in time, money, and flexibility that nobody's putting on camera. Some cases they are. And the basics win because they work for real people with real lives, not for athletes and not for executives with personal chefs. We're talking busy men over 30, fitting training around work and kids and everything else, who just got consistent and they stopped looking for a shortcut. Your foundation is probably not broken, but just incomplete. Lift consistently, eat enough protein, sleep better, and stay active. Do that for 6 months before you consider spending £1 on anything else. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe and watch this video next. I'll see you there.